Good morning, good evening and good afternoon ladies and gents. My name is Dennis Beloga and I run DB Fragrance here on YouTube. First off, I'd like to say thank you so much for having patience with me. I've missed you guys. It's glad to be back on YouTube. Unfortunately, I had a bit of a freshers flu, so please excuse that and excuse the absolutely monstrous buzz cut that I have got in the past couple of days. You get used to the hair, I promise you. Give it like a week or so and you'll see it every day. But regardless guys, thank you so much for your patience with me. And before the video starts as well, I would just like to say I'm still a small YouTuber, so please do not hesitate and consider liking and subscribing to this YouTube video. But regardless guys, today we are going to be going over 5 cheap fragrances from the 20 to 30 US dollar price range that project like absolute monsters. Cue the intro guys. So first off, in the number 5 spot, we have one that I've been quite fond of for a while. It was so fond of actually that I bought more than one bottle of this because it's so cheap. Only 11 to 12 Great British pounds, which is about 18 to 20 US dollars. This is Fragrance World's Barrakat Satin Oud. Now, first off, you can tell what this is a dupe of. It's a dupe of Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Oud Satin Oud, and it's a beautiful one. Now, before getting into the fragrance, let's just try the atomizer real quick. Nice distribution, wow, really good distribution. And the one I bought more recently, they do come with pressurized atomizers, that is a plus. But right, so with this fragrance, it's a typical oud and rose combo, where the rose is very jammy and sweet, and the oud is not your typical sort of Middle Eastern dry oud. It's a very wet sort of oud. With this fragrance, as I said, you get jammy rose, a lot of oud and a lot of vanilla, and at the same time it gives you that sort of Maison Francis Kurkdjian's signature sort of sweetness, the sweetness that you get from you know those strawberry pencils or those strawberry spaghettis they can get for like 45p. It's the sort of sweetness you get there mixed with the jammy rose and with the oud. Now, with the oud as well, I mentioned earlier, very wet sort of oud. When I speak about that, I think of Tom Ford's Oud Wood. It's a very wet, earthy, rainy sort of oud, and it's very bitter as well. That clashes with the sort of sweet, effeminate, pink, jammy sort of rose, and you would think that would clash really, really badly, but no, it's a beautiful combination, beautiful blend, and makes a very wearable unisex fragrance. For a beginner, this may not be a typical sort of beginner-friendly fragrance, but I still think beginners can pull this off. When I smell this, I think of dark black silk bed sheets. I think of a man or a woman wearing either a little black silk dress, or a man wearing a full-on silk top. They're about to go clubbing, it's late at night. It's a very sexy / formal fragrance. Definitely nightwear, and definitely unisex. A man and a woman could definitely pull this off, and I wouldn't say this leans more feminine or more masculine. I'd say it is completely in the middle, unisex. And the reason why I say that is because it's so bitter and dark that a man can wear it, and it's so sweet and jammy that a woman can wear this. But I will say though, if you are a woman and you wear this, you need to have a lot of confidence. I don't think any woman can pull this off. You need to be the right kind of woman, and that's why I'm saying it's a very sort of dark, but at the same time really sweet fragrance, and that's all you get in this fragrance. And the projection and the longevity as well, about 1.5 hours to 2 hours of projection, and then it remains as a skin scent for about 9 to 10 hours. Now, that may not be the best, but for 11 to 12 Great British pounds, that is still absolutely amazing. And I can't get enough of this fragrance. As I said, I've gone through almost 2 bottles of this, and it smells absolutely delightful. Blend is very, very nice. And overall, if you want a formal fragrance that has more sophisticated, less sort of sweet, more wearable oud in a way, that's more cold weather friendly. Once again, 11 to 12 Great British pounds, so around 15 to 20 US dollars. This is Fragrance World's Barrakat Satin Oud. Now next up we have a pretty good clone as well. This one's also by Fragrance World, and same sort of price, 14 to 15 Great British pounds, just over 20 US dollars. This is Fragrance World's Just Aswad. And it's actually a dupe of a dupe in a way. And what I mean by that is it's similar to a very popular Latafas fragrance. Let me go get it, hold on. Do you sort of see the resemblance here? They look very similar. Now, it looks similar to Latafas Aswad, which is a dupe of Dior Sauvage Elixir, but I must say this one projects much better and smells more similar to the original. Latafas Aswad, can I spray it first off? You do get the sort of Dior Sauvage Elixir sort of smell, but it's more sweet, it's actually more wearable, and it's sort of toned down. With just Aswad, you get more spices, you get more clove, you get more licorice, you get more sort of blues shower gel nuances, and it projects about twice as much as the original. Latafas Aswad, you get like 1 hour projection and lasts 8 to 9 hours. This one lasts or projects for about 2 hours and lasts about 11 to 12 hours. On a good day though, but still lasts a long time and it smells really, really good. Describing this in sort of non-fragrance terms, if I can, it's hard to say. It's a very wearable fragrance, but unfortunately the masses in my here in the UK have ruined the ideal of it for me. It's a very, very warm fragrance. It smells like, in my opinion, teenage boys going to a club or going to a party. It's one of the most popular fragrances in the UK, probably in the world now by the looks of it. But I smell this on a lot of people here in the UK and it's a very common sort of DNA. But that shouldn't discourage you though. It's very versatile slash formal, dark, sweet, shower jelly fragrance, and that's why people like it. It smells of prestige, it smells of class, it smells of luxury, but it's still just as wearable, and at the same time it's quite unique for what you're paying for. Compared to, for example, say Invictus or Bleu de Chanel or Aqua di Jour, those DNAs are quite outdated nowadays because so many people wear them. They're present in men's shower gels. People know what they smell like. When you have something like this, even though it is quite worn by the masses, you can still pull this off because it isn't as well known. When you smell this, it does smell brand new. But either way guys, if you want a cheap budget fragrance that's a no-brainer that you can take out every day and smell luxurious and classy, this one is actually a very, very good idea. And even though I have so many fragrances in my collection that smell so unique, I still love wearing this one just because it's versatile. It's a very, very good Dunwich fragrance. This is Fragrance World's Just Aswad. Now, next up we have a Latafa fragrance. However, this Latafa fragrance isn't as well known as the rest of like Camera or Aswad. This one is quite under the radar. However, I don't understand why. It's such a beautiful, dark, gothic smelling fragrance. So this is Latafa's Mohra, and oh my goodness, I love this one. This is actually quite a good compliment getter as well for the price. So this one's a bit hard to tell, but this is a dupe of Penhaligon's Halfeti Cedar, I think, yes. Penhaligon's Halfeti Cedar, and it is a very close clone of it. It smells just as dark, just as woody, just as sort of bitter as the original. And I don't mean bitter in a bad way. Right, so before we start, let's just test out the fragrance atomizer. Wow. Yeah, by the way, look at that build, man. It's got a nice little sort of red ribbon. It's got a clear sort of cap. It looks feminine, but man, go pull this off, and I'll say why in just a second. So in the opening, you get an overdose of lavender and blood orange with quite a bit of black pepper from the mid notes, and you get a lot of wood, patchouli, and red wine. And that's mainly what I smell in this. I'll probably leave a full review in the next couple of days on this fragrance because this is quite the interesting one. I think this is quite gate-kept. But this fragrance here it's a sort of dark, gothic, slightly feminine mulled wine fragrance. When I smell this fragrance, I think of it's Christmas time, you're by the fireplace and you're watching your favorite TV show, there's a Christmas tree next to you with presents underneath, and you're sipping a nice glass of mulled wine is that there's a lot of wine in this, and it's quite bitter in the dried out body opening. It's quite sweet and it's almost sort of tart in a way. The blood orange becomes very tart and sweet, and that sort of citrus that you get from the blood orange right at the beginning. But once it starts to dry down onto your skin, you get quite a bit of patchouli and cedarwood. And cedarwood is quite prominent in this fragrance because it's a very sort of dark, almost oaky sort of smell. But regardless, with this fragrance, this projects for about 2 hours and lasts me, on my skin at least, around 12 hours-ish. In all fairness, I did have to reapply around the 4-hour mark. Just when I was wearing this, I was at university and we had a little break. But that does not matter though. This still projects very, very well, and people can smell you from halfway across the room. I've tried and tested this on men and women, and do not be fooled by the feminine looking bottle. Men can pull this off just as well. But if you are a girl wearing this, then honestly, hats off to you. It smells really, really good. But if I were to think of a person wearing this, ideally I'd think of a gothic girl or a goth man wearing this. The wine and the dark sort of bitterness from the cedar makes it really sort of gothic. I would think more like, imagine Morticia Adams from the Addams Family. She would definitely be able to pull this off. But once again, men, do not be afraid to wear this. The bottle is absolutely lovely and the fragrance is beautiful. And if you have the confidence to pull off a dark or sort of gothic wine smelling fragrance that's slightly sweet, by all means go ahead. This cost me 10 Great British pounds, which is about $15 US. It's very cheap, lasts a long time, and if you don't like it, then by all means give this to your mother, give this to your sister, give this to a friend, man. I honestly think there is an audience who definitely likes this perfume, and if it doesn't suit you, there's definitely others who will like it. Next, for number 2, we have one that I used to wear almost every day. I love this one, and if you check Linguini's review up at the top, he loved this one as well. This one is Lattafa's Affection, and you can't tell what this is actually a dupe of. This is a dupe of Kayali's Young Pistachio Gelato, but it's not a one-to-one dupe. It's sort of a 80 to 90% similar dupe. And the reason why I say that is because it's not as sickeningly sweet as the Kayali. But when you smell this fragrance, in the opening you get a blast of mint, and then throughout you get tons of lactones and pistachio ice cream. And as many what you get from this pistachio ice cream, you'd think that's not very manly, but you'd be surprised at how well a man can pull this off. The pistachio isn't overly sweet. You get the lactones that gives you that sort of pistachio ice cream smell, but at the same time you do get quite sort of savoury nuances from the pistachio. It's very nutty, very, very nutty, and it's very thick as well. It's very thick fragrance in the dry down. In the opening it is quite light and airy, but once it dries down, very thick, very creamy, very nutty, very green as well, I must say. But all season, all occasions, I still think this is a great perfume. Just not in the gym, way too sweet. Regardless though, going out, going to functions, going to college, university, going out for a walk to the shops, I absolutely love this perfume. I received numerous amounts of compliments on this fragrance. And projection and longevity. First off, atomizer check. Decent atomizer, not the best, but still sort of projects 1.5 hours and lasts. It lasts 9 to 10 hours. After the 10-hour mark, it does become a skin scent and mixes with your sort of body odor, body chemistry. But in those sort of, from the 2-hour mark to the 9 to 10-hour mark, you can smell this easily, especially if you got close for a hug. People will be asking you what you're wearing, and man. Number 2, Lattafa's Affection. And number 1, we have one that I purchased quite recently, but I absolutely fell in love with. And yeah, man. Martina's Red Tobacco. And this is a one-on-one dupe of Mancera's Red Tobacco. It looks the same, it smells the same, and most importantly, it projects the same. It's still in the air. This video title should be renamed to me suffocating myself with high projection fragrances. Oof, that is strong. Wow. So, no introduction. Martina Red Tobacco, overdose of patchouli and tobacco. Smells very dark, smells very manly, smells, I've been told it smells like an ashtray, but don't let that discourage you, mate. It smells very, very good. In the opening you get some green apple, in the opening you get some pear, some sort of floral nuances, and you get a bit of a tea note. I don't think tea is an official note in this fragrance, but it smells similar to the tea. And once again, in the dry downs, overdose of patchouli and tobacco. It clogs your lungs, it clogs your nostrils. 2 sprays max, no more, and that is the most you can do for this fragrance. Very cheap as well, I forgot to mention, 17 Great British Pounds, just over $20 US. 2 to 3 hours of projection, lasts 24 hours, no doubt at all. If you want something that lasts all day, that smells really good, slightly mature, a bit like an ashtray, similar to Parfums de Marley Carlisle or Tom Ford's Black Orchid Parfum, Martina's Red Tobacco. Oh. Either way guys, thank you so much for checking out 5 fragrances that project heavy under 20 to 30 US dollars. If you guys have any more video suggestions, then please don't hesitate to comment down below. And once again, like and subscribe because I'm small, I'm trying to grow. Come on man, do it already. Either way guys, thank you so much once again for watching this YouTube video. You can use the buzz cut. But yeah guys, have an amazing rest of your day. Take care guys.